Hello, my name is John, and I'm using the game of Clue as my MDA analysis game and my modified board game. For Clue, the original aesthetic of the game is kind of well, there's elements of discovery, there's elements of challenge, there's elements of submission through making accusations, but the general gist of the game is that you are trying to challenge yourself to beat the other players to the correct conclusions by trying to collect all of the clue cards that other people already have and get the information off of them in order to make a final accusation. It's rather successful in creating that aesthetic, but I do think that the game can get somewhat repetitive, and not everybody likes that. Of course, some people like repetitive games, but not everybody, including myself. So, for my modifications to the game, usually the pawns spawn or they start all around the board. I'm having everyone start in the hall, and the reason for that is rather than have all players competing with each other in like a challenge format, I want to have two separate teams of players where all of the players minus one are on one team as the traditional detectives of Clue, whereas one player is actually the murderer in this case. I always thought it was interesting that Clue never explored, okay, what if one of the players was actually the murderer? So here we are. How the game works is there's going to be cards laid out randomly, amongst other things that you can read in the rule sheet of the game. I won't go into the full detail here as I only have 2 minutes, but there are cards laid out in the different rooms like so. And when a player, rather than starting with clue cards, as is typical for Clue, when a player enters a room, they will draw and keep one of the clue cards in that room into their hand permanently. And while they can't share what's on this clue card with other players, they are actually working together to gather all of the clues and all the information. And when two players meet each other in the same room, they can actually trade clue cards with each other from 1 to 3 clue cards. And they're trying to narrow down exactly which cards are present on the board and which cards actually did get left in this envelope that the killer is already aware of. And once they find out what the killer is actually aware of, they can start narrowing down, okay, what has the killer player been doing this whole time? Where has he been going? Because he has to visit each of the locations and items present in this to win and then escape out the hall. So it kind of, my aesthetic achieved through the mechanics that I've added. I'm hoping for fellowship, teamwork-based Clue game rather than everyone on their own. And I'm also hoping for a expression, actually, aesthetic, which is not present in the original Clue, because this one is about lying as well and about trying to make yourself look like the detective if you're the killer, or maybe trying to pass off faulty information to the killer if you think that they are the killer as a detective. So that's my changes. You can read about it in the rule sheets, and in my second part of the video you can see some gameplay. So thank you very much.